Well, and that was your last match for the WWF for a few years, right?
Yeah, I left. That was after WrestleMania. I wrestled The Undertaker in Indianapolis for WrestleMania 8. And then immediately after the match, I left.
Okay. Was it because you're supposed to get a writing position with the company?
Yep. Didn't get what I was promised.
Okay. And was that when like the drug use started to, ramp up?
Yep.
You said that I spun out of control for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
All I cared about was how much cocaine I had.
That's it.
Was it around that time that the suicide attempts started happening?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened the first time?
I was just, I was at the end of the road, man. I'd had enough. I had enough of being alone. I'd had enough of disappointing my family, of hurting my children, hurting my wife. I just had enough. And in a moment of insanity, I decided to take a bottle full of Valium. And I took them, went to sleep, but in my sleep I threw up. And I didn't choke on it, thank God. I remember waking up thinking, man, I'm such a loser, I can't even die right, which is insane to say, but that's how I felt. It wouldn't be the last time I tried, though.
How many total attempts did you have?
I think 4.
Okay.
Tried to OD on cocaine, didn't work. I just ran out of coke.
Okay. Well, after leaving the WWF, then you joined the WCW.
For a short time.
Okay. And your dad was wrestling there as well?
No, he wasn't wrestling there. He was just a backstage handler.
Okay. So did you guys actually work together while you were there or no?
No.
Okay. What was it like to have your dad around, though, during that time?
I didn't want him around.
Okay. And around that time when you joined the WCW, there was supposed to be this huge payday for you.
Yep. And I got screwed on that by Bill Watts. And that was the beginning of the end.
Right, because weren't you making about $3.5 million a year around that time?
I should have been.
Should have been.
But he made me sign a contract for $1,000 a day.
Okay. So things started to go downhill after that.
Oh, yeah, real quick.
At what point did you actually go from cocaine to crack?
About that time.
Okay.
It was easier to get a hold of.
Well, you and I both grew up in the era where you saw the effects of crack on television and, and everything else like that. There was nothing. Cocaine was more of a glamorous kind of drug.
Yeah, maybe.
This was like, at least the way it was, depicted. It was more of a rich man's drug, whereas crack was considered more of a poverty kind of drug.
Yeah, a street drug, yeah.
Exactly. When you took crack for the first time, what happened?
I got high as hell.
And did that become your drug of choice?
Yes.
Okay. And how are you getting it?
Off the street.
Okay, so here you are, this huge celebrity.
It was easy for me to get.
Yeah?
Oh, God, yeah.
Did anyone ever recognize you when they were selling to you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you look kind of familiar.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit.
Didn't give a shit.
No.
Well, by this time, how many kids did you have?
7.
Okay. And, your daughter, Brandy, she said that you were essentially an absentee father.
Yeah, I was absentee father to all my children.
Yeah.
I was on the road or out of my mind, one of the two.
Well, you said, I don't think I knew how to be a father.
No,
Plus, I learned at a very, yeah. You said, plus I learned at a very young age, when you get close to someone, they hurt you, whether they meant raping you or leaving you behind. So I didn't let no one get close to me. I didn't fall in love. I knew what happened when you fall in love, it would hurt you.
That's right. That had been my experience.
And you grew up in this family where your dad wasn't around. He didn't go to your games. He didn't go to your graduation.
And I did the same damn thing to my own kids.
Yeah. You told yourself you would never do that. And ultimately.
Yeah.
How much of a struggle was that?
It was horrible, man. I hated myself for it. That's where a lot of the self-hate was from the way I done things, the way I let things roll out.
Well, when you also talked about your kids, particularly your daughters, you said, I didn't make myself available to them. I was more of a court jester, and I was afraid that the demon my father had, which was young girls, would somehow manifest itself in me. I didn't want to take that chance. I wouldn't hold my little girls in my lap because I was afraid of that. Yeah. I was terrified.
Yeah, I was.
So because your dad was a pedophile with little girls, you were so worried that might be passed down to you, so that you would never actually put your daughters on your lap or kiss your daughters?
That's right.
But that was never actually a reality in your life.
No, it wasn't. Never. Mm-mm. But fear has a hold of you, man. It doesn't let go.